Did you all have a Merry Christmas? Yes. I had the most magical Christmas. My daughter Jenna is 2.5. Anyone have toddlers they got to spend Christmas with? Oh, it's so much fun to see Christmas through their eyes. And my husband and I, we were kind of still getting ready for the big day. And we woke up Christmas Eve morning. It was raining, sort of this slow, steady rain. And sometime during the morning, I looked out the window and I noticed the rain had slowed down, and it was snow. I thought, is that snow? It's like the rain is just, it wasn't hitting the ground. It was the kind of snow where the wind catches it, and it just kind of flies around, like never even touching the ground. It was so beautiful. And it was such this amazing slowing down that seemed to happen in my own spirit. I woke up on Christmas morning, and there was about 2 inches of snow on the ground. And there were even on our front porch, we saw little reindeer prints. It might have been the neighbor's cat, but I'm pretty sure that it was reindeer that made it to our house. It was an absolutely magical Christmas for us. And then the next day, I turned on the news, and I saw this story about some guy flying over Detroit trying to blow up a plane or something crazy. And I thought, it's a crazy world, isn't it? It seems kind of upside down that something like that would happen on Christmas, and that doesn't seem like something we would generally talk about in church, because Christmas is our sacred day. It's that special day, and yet there is this reality. In Unity, sometimes they say we don't talk about what's real. And so there's this reality that there's some crazy stuff going on, and everything seems a little upside down. But I brought an unusual Christmas story for you today. You up for something a little weird? Okay, good. It's not really a Christmas story, but it ties into what I've noticed and experienced this Christmas. It's a story about this is a true story, a doctor who back in 1896, his name was Dr. George M. Stratton, and he developed this strange little invention. He developed these goggles that you could put on. They were called upside-down goggles. And when you would put them on, it would make everything look upside down. They look good, don't they? Good. So he would give people these upside-down goggles as an experiment, and he would take these people, and for 2 or 3 weeks, he'd just see what happened. What would happen if you were looking through the world and everything was upside down? And of course, kind of what they expected. They were bumping into stuff, and it was kind of chaotic for a couple weeks. But then something amazing happened, and it happened at a different time for different people. But within about 2 to 3 weeks, something happened in their brain, and it turned everything around. So something happened, and even though they were wearing those upside-down goggles, their brain adapted so that everything looked normal. And they thought, well, isn't that interesting? So we studied these people, and of course, at the end of the study, he told them all to go home. Well, the strange thing that happened was, as you can imagine, they had gotten used to everything being upside down. They were seeing that as normal. And so when they took off the glasses, the same thing happened. Everything looked upside down. They weren't wearing the glasses anymore, but everything still looked upside down. And after about 2 or 3 weeks, boom, the brain adapts. So they spend 2 or 3 weeks bumping into things again. And then the brain adapts, and they're able to see normally without the goggles. So I have a theory about what's happening in our world right now. And my theory is that we've spent the past couple centuries being born with these upside-down goggles. And I think that there's a shift that's happening now. I think that technology is connecting us in a way where we can no longer wear the goggles. They don't work. So we're taking off the goggles, and there's a lot of bumping into things that's happening while we adapt, while our brain adapts to this new way of seeing. And I think that this is exactly why Jesus came. I think he came goggle-free into an upside-down looking world, and he would go to people and he would take off their goggles and say, be healed. He helped the blind man to see. He helped the lame to walk. I think he was just taking off the goggles so they could see the truth, and the truth is what set them free. Now, I don't know what happened after Jesus left, wouldn't it be neat if you could see the follow-up studies on Jesus' miracles? 2 years later, the blind man says, man, that Jesus guy, he was great. The lame man, did he put the goggles back on and was that just something neat that happened? Or do you think it stuck? Do you think they were able to go forth, as Jesus said, go forth and sin no more? Go forth and don't put the goggles back on. Go forth with clarity in your vision. So that's the possibility. What if we are here at this juncture in history? What if humanity has reached a point where we have taken off the goggles? And what if all the things that seem kind of crazy and seem kind of upside down are simply our brain sort of coming back into balance with what is true? So I brought some statistics. Now I share this to share the scale and the scope and the speed with which things are changing. We are connected now in ways that we have never been connected before. And because of that, there's a level of transparency that is stripping us of our goggles. The world can no longer see through these anymore because we are too connected. The truth becomes too clear. We in Unity, who've been studying these principles for a long time and have at least had moments, admit it, you've had moments where you've taken your goggles off. There's moments of clarity and insight, and we might have put them back on, but now we see we've been teaching these principles for so long. And so it is our great blessing to be able to go forth into the world as leaders of the new paradigm. If you've got a dream that's been tickling at you, saying, get to work, write that book, start that business, create that invention, that $1 million idea that you've been sitting on for the past 20 years? It's like, now is the time. If you've had that, I call it a little tickle. It's like that God tickle that says, ooh, here's something that would just be so great. If you've got that thing in you, this is the year to bring it forth, to take those dreams, take all the things in your heart that are calling to you and begin them boldly, because now is our time. I thank you so much. I wish you a very happy, prosperous new year. God bless you all. Thank you.